What's up, y'all? You hear that music? It means we are back. It's the Babyfaces Podcast on iHeartRadio. I am your co-host, Austin, along here with our other new co-host. His name is Vigilante Talks. You already know what it is. One of the newest members of the Babyfaces and iHeartMedia team. We appreciate everything that he's done for us with occasionally helping out with some graphics, some videos, and all that fun stuff, and just overall bringing his energy. We are coming at you on a Wednesday. My gosh, baseball season just started for me, dude. I have like 7 different jobs and I'm just losing track of time here. But it finally, Monday Night Raw has been a little bit out of whack just because it's been coming on at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's when my show Coffee and Company starts on 790. So you guys are here, want to catch up on some sports. You can catch me and Nick Coffee 3 to 6 on Sports Talk 790. But we're here to talk about wrestling. Our other guy, Billy Prickett, is still out. I don't know if you noticed this, but I guess we'll just go ahead and break it to the world right now. Billy Prickett, co-host of the Babyfaces Podcast, our 3rd member of the show. He just officially welcomed in a new babyface into his life just a couple of days ago, and he narrowly avoided having an April Fool's baby. So congratulations to him. Awesome. We look forward to having him on the show again sometime soon to show his face. But we got a new baby face in the world now. What's up, Vigilante? How you doing, my friend? It's been about 2 weeks since I talked to you.
Yeah, man. Everything's good. Everything's good. First of all, congratulations and blessings to Billy and the family.
That's right.
And everything's good, brother. I seen you're busy. A
little bit, man. It starts to get a little bit wild for me around this time of year. But I'd rather keep myself busy. I tell myself, dude, I'll sleep when I die. So
that's how it should be.
Hopefully, that's no time soon. I got my sparkling water. I have my nicotine packs. I got my vape right here to get us through the show. So we'll be all right, man.
I got my tribal chief. This helps me get through the show.
Do you collect action figures, or is that just something that you got along the way?
Only the tribal chief. Nobody else. Only the tribal chief.
That's been a fun thing that I dove into last year as I just started following people that like collect that stuff and action figures. And I had this very addictive mindset personality anyways. Once I just got one because they look cool, I started getting more. Yeah. And then I start following collectors on YouTube and Instagram. And then I go out hunting and chasing, and you can find different variants. You can find a Seth Rollins wearing a green instead of the blue, and you get the chase variants. It's almost like holographic cards, and
people go crazy for these things, bro.
It's nuts. And it just got too old for me, dude, because I was probably going to Walmart and like Target and like 3-4 times a week. I was waking up. That was the first thing I was doing before I went to work, just to go see like what was dropping. And they weren't putting out anything new, but I'm looking online and they got like the end cap displays with the WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble. And I'm like, we're still hauling the Shayna Baszler that was dropped last year, or Ronda Rousey, and it's just like so annoying. But like back when the bloodline was like its peak, that's when I was going. Like it was impossible to find the Jimmy Usos, possible to find the Jays. Like they keep making the same different Romans, but I still like them. So I've got all of them in the little ring too. So I got the.
To be honest with you, I have never seen the Jay, the Jimmy, or any of those in real life, only in Instagram.
Really?
That's how crazy it is out here where I'm at with those things. Like every time I go to Walmart, the section where the figures is at is always empty.
It's depleted, dude.
Yep.
I didn't know that it really got like that. And there was just like no re-upping, no restocking on any of it. So I just kind of died down for the longest time. And now they've released several other more, and now they got like the Yeet Jey Uso and stuff like that, which I wouldn't mind getting, but I already had the bloodline. They're already posed. I got Solo. I guess the main one I need now is a Jacob. They come out with a Jacob one, so I need that. And I actually fight because I used to love playing with that shit when I was a younger kid. I used to love getting the figures. The matches that I would put on and the storylines that I put on was phenomenal. I wish I had some of the technology like they did now. People have their own like arena sets. And
it's crazy how people do that, right?
Dude, it makes like.
Can you imagine the amount of time that it takes for them to do that, bro?
Yeah, but they make it look like a real crowd. They got barricades up. I was never able to afford or get that kind of stuff, but it's pretty cool. Now they got like the big actual scale rings instead of the small, tiny, bouncy ones that my parents are only able to afford.
I don't have the time for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I don't have the time for it.
You'll run out of time, and then you'll run out of space, and then at one point, because you're a kid at heart, but your reality will always set in that you're an adult, and you'll look at yourself like, why am I collecting toys? But it's like a fun rush when you're out there looking, and you happen to see your favorite superstar on the shelves. It's pretty fun. There was actually a time where I was working at home last year, and when my now fiance, she had left to go on a solo trip overseas, so I was sitting there bored, and I look over to my left and I have a wrestling ring and it's full of action figures. So what do I do at work? I'm sitting there, spare, blah blah blah. I do that for 5 minutes, and then a couple minutes go by and I'm like, what am I doing? But it's still fun. It's my ADHD type of sense. Sometimes somebody needs to get hit with the steel chair. It lets out something. It's pretty fun. So I'm not knocking anybody that does it, but it takes a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of space.
A lot of money, because these things are expensive, brother.
Oh, dude. I wish that they looked like how they look now when I was a kid, but I never really paid that much attention to them. I always find the ones like the one that you have right there is the like elite, where they're not the ultimates. They're right in between the basic elites and then the ultimates. So you got a posability where you can flex them and all these different poses. They started coming out with those kind of figures as I was getting out of it when I was growing up. They only had like the basic figures, couldn't really pose them. But I always enjoyed the basic ones because they were like a little bit more stiff and made like that sound. And like these are, I like
when you bang them against each other.
Live action, dude. Like I made it look like I was actually making them work. They were throwing working punches. They were calling out matches. You know, I made it look like an actual producing thing. But with the posable ones, I always thought that those are a little bit harder because their joints were like, you had to mold them in to make the moment where it didn't 100%. Look as natural. So I know this is what everyone tunes into, Babyfaces, to listen to two grown men talk about
toys.
Talk about toys. But you guys tuned in to hear two grown men talk about pro wrestling, right? That's what we came for. As salute our tribal chief right there. Big day for him just a couple days ago on SmackDown. Of course, we finally take a few steps to where we're seeing that all kind of cultivate. You had the contract signing of Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk. And it is now, as we talked about on the last episode, it is scheduled to main event night 1, correct?
Yes.
So that's going to be the main event. What do you think about this whole contract signing? And of course, all the little details that went into it, from facial expressions to hints to what do you think is next for these three as we build on to WrestleMania later on this month?
Well, before I tell you what I think about them, I think Roman Reigns sounds better than Cody Rhodes. Sorry, guys, but the tribal chief is the tribal chief, and you just gotta acknowledge him. Now, what do I think about the contract and all of that? I think the way they handled it was perfect. Seth Rollins and Roman having a brotherly argument at the place where they came in together, saying, you know, it's your fault that we're here, and now, you know, you okayed him, and now I got to clean your mess again. Like that was epic. There's no way, I don't think we will ever be able to replace Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins definitely doesn't get the amount of credit and props that he deserves, right? And maybe is because, like, you know, the character that he plays, I push him to the side a little bit because of the character, but Seth Rollins did great. Roman, as always, anything that Roman does is like he takes anything to another level. Everything from his mannerism and how he carries himself in the ring, and the CM Punk situation was what, you know, we know is the little sprinkle on top. A lot of looks between Paul Heyman and CM Punk makes you wonder what is really going on here. You know, when CM Punk is about to sign, and you see Paul Heyman in the back going, It's like it makes you wonder what is
I
really
noticed
going
that.
on. What is really going on? And then of course the wrench at the end of it where Punk says, this is not the favor I'm owed. I'm pretty sure some of us knew that was gonna happen, that this is not a favor. I don't think the favor is this match. You know what I mean? The favor ultimately is gonna be anything to do with a title. He wants to get a shot at the title. Yes, WrestleMania, people are too focused on CM Punk main focus is main event of WrestleMania. No, but he wants to main event WrestleMania, but he's a wrestler. You know what I say? Every wrestler's main goal is getting gold. And I think that's where the favor comes in.
Yeah, it's I love that little monkey wrench that they threw at the end of there, because that's even what I was just expecting. Is it's CM Punk at the end of the day wants a WrestleMania main event, but the character would also probably love to have a title too. He's also chasing glory. He's always wanted to be mentioned in the same hierarchy that Hogan was or John Cena was, and ever since he's been gone, Roman Reigns has kind of put himself up there. So CM Punk, especially the character, wants to have that. So that will be interesting. I'm wondering where Paul Heyman factors into this, because could that, favor just be like you leaving Roman Reigns to come back to me? I don't see Paul Heyman betraying Roman Reigns, because they've already done so much, like the Hall of Fame stuff where he inducted him, and he's now overtaken, I think, at least Brock Lesnar for Paul Heyman's guy, and everything that Paul Heyman has done. So what do you think of the speculation that a Heyman turn is going to have, or is that just kind of like a red herring, and it's just perfect that he's a great actor and learns how to play the we got to keep our eye on him too part?
I think that's ultimately that's what it is. If there's gonna be a change in Paul Heyman at some point, it's probably gonna be Braun Breaker somewhere in the future. I don't think he's switching from Roman to CM Punk. You know what I mean? I think he's really good at playing that angle where you're always thinking, is he the one controlling the narrative? And it may seem that way. You know what I mean? Because he's really good at it. But his love for CM Punk is always gonna be his love for CM Punk. It's never gonna waver. We have seen it throughout time now. Even in front of Roman, he's able to show CM Punk that he cares. But I don't think he's betraying Roman.
It's going to be interesting to see. Also, what you mentioned about or about Seth Rollins. Seth still kind of feels like a third wheel in this whole thing. It seems like the heat between Seth and Punk has already been settled, just because they had that match.
That cage match.
They had that cage match, and then they already had the first match or the main event on the first Raw of Netflix. And so it seems like everything was just kind of let out there, and this is their way of kind of getting Seth Rollins into it, kind of the same way that some would say he was interjected into last year's feud, and eventually ended up working. They told the fun story and how it all rounded out with being Cody's shield and all that, but I wasn't particularly on the angle of getting Seth in there anyways, but like I said, it all played out. It now sort of feels like he's just in there to be in there. I feel like, and me and Billy have talked about this and posted about this before, it's going to be weird because right now it seems like it's just a meaningless triple threat when you could have had either of those three men just face one another in a 2-on-2 match, whether it be Punk and Rollins one more time, or Punk and Roman Reigns, or Roman Reigns and Punk, which seems to be where all the heat's at right now because of the Paul Heyman element. Or you could have also always went the Roman and Seth route, because the last match they ever had was completely like, it was a Royal Rumble match, right? Where he choked him out and then he got disqualified. And that was last time before the whole, it's when he came back down in the Shield. We were at that WrestleMania in Kansas City. It was a good St. Louis. It was in St. Louis. So I don't know, dude. It seems like three of them in there are kind of forced. So we'll see where it takes us. I guess there's still a lot of time, but I'm still underwhelmed by it, just because I don't know. Am I just used to the fact of seeing Roman Reigns in this spot to where he's a champion and he's being the chased one? now all of a sudden it's just like personal feuds for him right now
Yeah.
since there's no championship involved.
I think that main event would have more stake if in the contract there was something else that says this is for the number one contender. If they would have made that triple threat between CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins be a number one contenders match, it would have made a lot more sense than just a grudge match between all three of them.
Oh, absolutely. Or some sort of I thought somehow before Jay ended up winning the Royal Rumble, I thought that they were going to get Gunther's title involved into this, and it would be the second title, and one of those guys are going to try to make that, as prestigious as they wanted it. But triple threat is what we're getting at WrestleMania for that. It's going to close night one, so that already leaves up the next main event, which we already know is going to rock solid night two. It's Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Last time we got on here, Vigilante, we were talking about it was Cena's first time coming out and speaking as a heel. You had said it was the best babyface turn. Was it better than Hogan, right? It was
For me, yes.
It was best executed since Hogan. It was really fun now that the steam has started to not die off. And I'll go ahead and say it's died off just because I feel like it wasn't capitalized on immediately. In hindsight's 2020 now that I look at it. There's still a lot that could have been capitalized on immediately, but we've had a few weeks. He's come out. Him and Cody have had a few face downs. What did you think about this more recent one this past week? And they're still overseas in the UK, right? They were in London, I think.
Yes, they were in London on Monday. I think that John Cena's heel turn went from legendary to ordinary in 5 weeks. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it happened in Elimination Chamber, not only did it shock a lot of people because they didn't see it possible, but there was a feel and a cinema to it, with The Rock being involved and all
Right.
that, and
And
the way
Travis
they were
Scott.
able to tell that story. But then you go 2 weeks where we don't see Cena or The Rock. Then the third week, Cena comes out and takes a dump on the crowd, says no word to Cody, bounce. The following week, now we're 4 weeks into the heel turn, he does the same exact promo. I don't care what nobody tell me. It was the same exact promo. And then here comes the 5th week where he actually cooks Cody. I'm not saying that Cody didn't do good. Cody did okay. Cody did a good job. Whenever you're able to go somewhat at a level with Cena is considered a good job. But if we take the fandom away and we look at it from a perspective and the points that was made and the attitudes and all of that, and I mean, Cena cooked. But yet it just feels like because The Rock is not being mentioned, not around, it feels ordinary. It feels just like any other heel turn where the bad guys just get mad, just get pissed that the new champion doesn't deserve it more than he does. Where in reality, when you first gave us the story, it wasn't because of that. It was because The Rock wanted the championship. The Rock wanted his own champion, not Cena is pissed that Cody has become the new him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But hopefully, we still got time. Monday, we're back in the United States. Hopefully, it's not such a bad trip for The Rock to show up. He already spent the last 4 weeks promoting his new drinks and his new shit that got nothing to do with WWE.
His body wash and his lotion. And
so hopefully now he got some time for us now that we're going to be in the United States. And they could pick it right back up and make some sense out of all of this.
Yeah, Brock is the major thing missing right now. Like, even when you said it last time when Cena came out and made his first heel promo, you said it was fine with him not mentioning Rock there. But, I mean, at least it's got to be promo because that's all that they showed afterwards was the brutal beatdown. Like, this guy just beat you within an inch of your life. And,
right.
And it's like he joined the bad guy who was wanting you to join his side. So like now the story is, and that's fine. That could, the story of him always just built up anger and the crowd just always never knowing if they loved him or if they hated him. F you,
Right.
Cena sucks. Like that's fine as an underlying current, but like, what does that make you join The Rock? Like, if you win the championship, does that mean like you and The Rock are going to be like stronger than ever? Like, does a Rock just go away again? Thank you for winning the championship and beating Cody. Because at that point, why can't The Rock just face Cody Rhodes for the belt? Anyways,
himself.
you have to come back and he has to come back for this. So like, I don't know. It just feels, I mean, like, have like what Rock and Cena were doing way back in the day when Rock wasn't able to make it. He was throwing some of Rock's stuff off or Cena stuff off the bridge. He was doing the promos with the on portrait mode. Like, I don't know why they're not doing
that. Was better than what they're doing now.
Exactly. Like, he's the final boss. Show him trying to screw Cody over, trying to like, hey, make sure Cody doesn't leave London unscathed. And he's got some other people working for him. Have Karrion Kross take him out or something. They've had that weird thing going on.
Yeah, no, they had a lot of great opportunities with this storyline, the way it was going. But I don't know if you remember when The Rock came back, me and you were texting and you were kind of hyped that The Rock came back.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember what my response was. I was like, it all depends how much time he has for us. I mean, for the universe, how much time he has to give us. And that's just it. I've said it to people. I said it to you as well. When he came in and he announced WrestleMania 42, I told everybody, this is the only reason why The Rock is here this weekend. He just want to tell us what WrestleMania 42 is going to be. You know? Mm-hmm. And that's just how it feels. And it just feels like now we have a plot hole in probably what's supposed to be the biggest storyline going into WrestleMania.
Yeah, as one of our former friends of the show has been on, Billy Body does some inside research, or he's got a pretty good connection. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but up there with the Meltzers and the Mike Johnsons, and probably even better than they are. But he even mentioned that The Rock seemed like he had a lot of time. He should planned out a lot of time because Moana's not released until next year. He's all finished wrapping, but the original plan was supposed to be him versus Cody at WrestleMania. Cody wins, gets his pin back, because that was the whole reason that The Rock pinned Cody in the first place at WrestleMania last year, is Rock knew that eventually Cody would have to get his back and he'd have to do the JOB at the PPV, and he didn't want it, and it just turned out that in the nicest way, he said, well, why don't we just make this year all about John Cena? It's John Cena's retirement. And I'm starting to see that played out like a little bit more, since that's why they're focusing a lot on him and not of The Rock, because he didn't want to jump to the part where he just wanted to jump straight to the part where he got the belt, won it again at SummerSlam, and not where he actually did the job brother to Cody Rhodes. Once again, all speculation, but it's
all speculations, but it sounds so accurate because we've seen it played out throughout the years, right? But that's where I stand with Cody and Cena. Unfortunately, they have done a great job with what they have. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not taking anything away from Cody and Cena as workers. I mean, they have done whatever they have to do. It's just, it was projecting to be something completely different after Elimination Chamber. And, there's might be people that, they just sit back and enjoy every show and go along with it. But then there's critical thinkers like us that we're like, bro, Cena being mad at the crowd was not what we got at Elimination Chamber. At Elimination Chamber, we got Cena selling his soul to The Rock. That's where I expected to go from there. But that's about it. But like I said, Monday, we're back in the United States. We're back to 8:00. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, bring in Travis Scott. Why not have have Travis Scott make like a diss track or something, or have Travis Scott come out from the crowd while Cody's there, and just like, if he's not going to take a bump or get his come up and just yet, like, have him talk shit to Cody, like, hey, how's your eye play, boy? Or I see that your face is healing.
There's so many things he could do, man.
Turn that whole work into a shoot, and turn the whole shoot into a work, and then that just builds up heat, and that builds up to what you want to see. And the times where Cena's not going to be there, have Cena go in and cut a promo, have Cena walk by like the Dusty Rhodes statue or something. And I don't know, have Cena go, they're doing stuff on Twitter, and Cena does his thing where he posts on Instagram of some villain and like some sort of cheesy caption. That doesn't do it enough for me. And
yeah, no, it's not.
I can't nitpick, just the fact, and you might have already seen it elsewhere, and I've started to agree with the narrative, but like, once again, at Elimination Chamber, these three dudes beat the ever-loving hell out of you. And the next time you finally get a chance to see him in the building, it's not Travis Scott, the one that gave you the black eye. It's not The Rock that controlled this guy. It's the main guy that whooped your ass and is ready to take your belt at WrestleMania. And Cody comes out doing the babyface thing. He's smiling. He's doing his whoa, and it's like he's doing that. Go get your shit in, and then you turn your thoughts to that, and it was like, you're being a whiny bitch. Like, he should have been storming out there. Screw the whoa, screw all this. I'm storming out there. I'm undoing my tie. And at that point, you have 30 security guards come out there, and they're just trying to hold it back. Cody can cut the promo. You're being a whiny bitch. And like,
that would have been,
get me off him while there's so many people holding him back. And like, Cena's trying to get to them. They're holding him back. And it's just like, because Adam Pearce, who is it? It's Adam Pearce on Raw, right? Adam Pearce is like, this is a money match. These guys can't touch each other. We need this at WrestleMania. Whenever they are in the building, they need to be escorted by. So that final time where they get that first time where they get to lay hands on each other, make it a week before the WrestleMania, something like that. It just means much more sense. But they're just coming out and just quiet promo, talking, battling each other.
Right.
And like, the heat has died down a little bit.
So this what I'm about to say now, wrestling fans are gonna hate me for it, but I'll embrace it.
Try not to.
I'll embrace it. There's always a sibling, and it's usually the youngest one, who cannot curse in front of people. We don't let him curse and all of that. But then one day, we give him permission to say one bad word, and we all laugh, and it's cool. But now he thinks it's cool to do it all the time.
Yeah.
That's what's happening with Cody to me. Like, ever since he told The Rock to go fuck himself, in every promo, he got to try to curse to curse somebody out, and the crowd go crazy. And that's what shows you that Cody's fan base are really kids, because they find it cool.
Yeah.
And, oh wow, yeah, Cody cursed them out. That's not that doesn't necessarily mean that is a great promo. It's just like, Triple H was like, hey Cody, you know what, you could curse.
Yeah, you pop the kids.
And then it feels just like that. Like, whenever Cody cuts a promo and he curses, it's just feel like my little cousin that's not supposed to do it, and he got permission to do it. So what I'm trying to say is, make it meaningful. Don't come at me with all calm. Oh, Cena, stop being a whiny bitch. It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, you should be ready to kick this guy's ass, dude. Exactly. Like, he just whooped your ass and embarrassed you. I don't know. It's just all a little bit overproduced, and we know Cody can do it. I mean, Cody is an absolute professional. He's a great storyteller. He's a good wrestler. So like, I just thought that he would know a little bit better. And I mean, who am I? I'm just a mark. I didn't train for any of this stuff. I'm not the WWE champion. So I'm just saying, as a fan, that's something I could enjoy. So that's going to be interesting to see how they do. Like you said, once they come back to the States, we'll see what kind of resources they pull. I love to finally see The Rock come down and explain himself. Here recently, it doesn't look like The Rock. It just looked like The Rock just goes out there without like any script, and is just going to kind of tell it along the way. So anymore, I'm not as hyped about it as I once was. So it will be, let's just see Travis Scott or something. Let's see somebody bring Mama Rhodes, Papa Rhodes back into it, have John Cena's dad involved into it. He's a heel now. He can go try to hit on Mama Rhodes. I don't know. That would be pretty.
They need to do something else. And I mean, we need to We need to give it a little bit more time. It's not being as head on as it was last year, and I think that's the problem. Like we got too used too quick of how
Mhm.
things happened last year. I'm guilty of that myself. But hopefully when they come back to the States, it all get fixed. Now, another thing I want to talk about, changing the conversation a little bit. Um the overcomplication that WWE is having when it comes to Rhea, Io Sky, and Bianca is nonsensical.
Yeah.
I feel like I get it. You need to stretch the program from the time that Io won the championship to WrestleMania, but you guys kind of complicated the whole situation. The whole now we at the this past Raw having a match between Rhea and Io and Bianca as the referee. It didn't even have to go, and it's still at this point, the triple threat for WrestleMania hasn't even been set, and it could have been. I think it could have been as simple, and we would have accepted it as fan as remember at MSG when Io and Bianca were talking, Rhea came out. Rhea slapped the crap out of Io.
Hmm.
And Bianca did it. They both ignored her. It could have been as simple as the next Monday Night Raw, Io comes out and say, you know what? You want to disregard me? You want to disregard me? I see both of y'all in WrestleMania. That's it. We would have been like, yes, let's do it. But but no,
Ten
like
toes.
all this stuff they do, it is so overcomplicated. Like, why, bro?
Yeah, the amount of triple threats going into WrestleMania is, and the amount of all this, I don't mind a good triple threat, but like, I mean, when it comes to the women's champion like this, like it's just going to be probably a spot fest. And I mean, honestly, if you wanted to fit all three women in the match that they just had this past week, where Bianca was the referee, that could have been the Mania match, and then Bianca could have had her claim for, or Io could have been the referee since Bianca won the Elimination Chamber. And then like you could have had Io had a claim to the championship on Backlash or the Raw right afterwards. So like there would be that factor where whoever is a special guest referee, like who they would rather see in their first match. But like it's overtold, over kind of convoluted with what's going on the Raw
and
side.
it's like we get it. Any of those matches between any of those three women at WrestleMania would have been fine. Io versus Bianca would have been okay. Io versus Rhea would have been okay. Rhea versus Bianca would have been okay.
Yep.
You know, Bianca versus like all of it. Any way that you would put one against the other, it would have been okay with us. It's all about how we gonna get Rhea into WrestleMania. That's what this is about now. And it makes sense. Rhea is probably one of the biggest or the biggest women superstar right now. So she needs to be part of it. But I feel like at this moment, Bianca would have made more sense being in the program with Jade and Naomi than she does at this title. So I don't know where that went. That's my only complaint about that. I don't know. I feel like there's too many triple threads and multiple people matches going into WrestleMania 41.
Yeah, there's a lot, and it's probably going to be that way with the Intercontinental title, the U.S. title. It seems like we got Penta, who we talked about on the last episode. You got any thoughts of him and Braun Breaker? That's going to be a singles match at WrestleMania, or do you think that gets involved in the gimmick match?
It should be a singles match.
I think so too.
I mean, like the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania, to me is my favorite thing. I don't know if you remember, I told you the first match that I ever saw that got me, not that I ever saw, but that got me into wrestling was Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. So the Intercontinental title match is always a match that I look forward to when it comes to WrestleMania, because it's usually I made it to WrestleMania as a Intercontinental title. My next step is the heavyweight. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like kind of moving up to the next level, passing of the torch. So I don't want to see a triple threat match.
Yeah.
I don't.
I agree. And you got guys, obviously, Braun Breaker, who's probably ready to take that next step. You just mentioned a thing with Paul Heyman possibly down the line. Obviously, because there's been reports that he's been working heavily with Braun Breaker in the back, and you could tell that Braun Breaker really kind of gets it. And Penta, who they're trying to make a big star right now, they've done a great job with merchandise sales, even when they present him for his entrance. I know a lot of people are mad at that he's been doing a lot of main event stuff, but there's nothing wrong with that. Just kind of getting him at working into the WWE system. He's back on Raw now. They just had a match for the IC title with Braun, didn't he?
On one of the dark matches?
Or I'm just saying on Raw, hasn't he? What's the latest thing that happened? Because I missed Raw between.
They had a tag team match. It
so
was
they were. Yes.
And Penta versus the Judgment Day.
Okay, yeah, you're right. And they looked relatively good in that too. So he's back on Raw, he's back on television. Maybe they're just gearing him up for this IC title run, and that's what I probably think is a smart move. Go ahead and
I think it's
move
a smart
Braun to their
move.
main event scene.
Keep him safe until you give him the title. You understand what I'm saying? Penta is not that young for you to have in the ring every freaking week.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So it makes sense. Yeah, man, I think it's about that time, especially if they're gonna give Jay the World Heavyweight Championship. To me, it means the championship is going to the new generation after Jay. That's the way I see it. And if there's anybody from the new generation that needs to hold it first, it would have to be Braun Breaker.
Sure. That'd be a fun claim. And I think that's probably where we're going to go to. I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that. And I guess we finished the last show with it, and we'll finish this show with it. And since you just mentioned it, the Jay Gunther match, it's gotten a little bit more personal now since this past week. It was a bloody beatdown on Jimmy Uso, and Jay was he was handcuffed to the ropes, sort of like the situation where it was Hell in a Cell, right? The I Quit match with Jimmy or with Jay and Roman.
And Roman.
And then he takes him out right in front of him. But that was really fun. I thought this was really well executed as well. What does this do, in your opinion, for that build up?
So you remember in the last conversation I have, I told you everybody is behind Jay because they want Jay to have that happy moment, but it's going to be up to Gunther. Gunther is the person that's responsible for making this make sense and giving it like the drama to it.
Mm-hmm.
And this Monday, Gunther did just that.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, yes, we got to give Jimmy a lot of credit for it, but the taking of the blood, putting it in his face, and being a complete animal, and being able to sell, I'm a beast. Gunther did amazing with it. You understand what I'm saying? And it goes back to what I have always said about Jay and Jimmy. Jimmy has always played my brother's keeper. Jimmy is whether he's a babyface or heel, and there's a Jay storyline. Jimmy is always the main factor as to why the Jay character evolves, and we've seen it happen here. Also, big shout out to Big Jim for being the superstar with the most matches in 2025. 26 televised matches.
Wow, Big Jim.
Televised matches, bro. Big Jim is the real WWE workhorse.
He goes to work.
Bro, I hope we cannot say I hope they give him a single run, because he's getting that. He's getting that push. Now we need to seal it with a good US title.
Yes. And that's going to be interesting. Once again, when we go into the U.S. title, if that's going to be against LA Knight, because I can't see him beating LA Knight, but that one's probably going to be like your ladder match, right?
You got to keep in mind, Jimmy just beat Drew McIntyre.
That's true.
So if he could beat Drew McIntyre, he could definitely beat LA Knight.
Of course. That's that's one. They just gave that title back to LA Knight, or were they doing that just to put Jimmy over, which isn't bad, but I'm a fellow LA Knight lover. So
Me too.
I'm just always thinking, what after this, because I would love for him to stay satisfied and stay with the company because he's great. He's fantastic. He's
Yeah.
probably my top five right now. I love LA Knight, but I don't know. Be interesting to see what they do with him, and as opposed to Gunther, what you were just talking about, and like with the blood rubbing all over his face, and that shot of Jay reaching for his brother while he's getting choked out and he's getting his ass whooped. Very, very cool, just because that's fresh in this rivalry. We've already seen Gunther come out through the crowd like he's Jey Uso. We've already seen Jey Uso come make the save when he's beating on Otis, and then there's like a pull apart. We've already seen this way even before this, leading up to Saturday night's main event, leading up to a Raw match that they had when Gunther was the IC title holder. Like, we've already seen this. This was a good way of switching it up, and what a turnaround for the Usos in the last year, with last year basically being them against each other, also their dissension away from the bloodline. Now that's 2 years removed and there's no bloodline with them involved. So good for them being in something that's not bloodline related.
That's been great.
I know a lot of people are really getting tired of everything meaning something about the bloodline, but I mean, I loved everything about it. I hope that, they eventually bring something like that back. But I always thought that was the great thing about the bloodline. It's never truly going to end. They can always get back to it at some point. But it seems like they're not relying on that this year.
It's always there for them to pick up.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Another thing that you got to give to the Usos and give them props on the way they have been able to handle both of them, and also the writers in WWE, is that now you talk about Jimmy Uso or Jey Uso. You don't talk about the Usos. You know what I'm saying? You're able to talk about them as separate characters, and that's amazing. Not many tag teams, especially as great of a tag team as they were or accomplished, you could say, that's Jay, that's Jimmy. They got their own stuff going. I think the only two people that we could say that about was Jeff and Matt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Some people will say Christian and Edge, but by that time they were already in different.
Yeah.
So it's great that they have been able to. The come up has been amazing. Again, the things I tell you about my brother Keeper, and how it's always Jimmy that finds a way to elevate Jay. Even with the Yeet, the person that really started the Yeet was Jimmy.
Yep.
That's many years ago, and Jay took it to another level, and that's great. I just want to see Jimmy get his dues at some point, because to me, out of both of them, Jimmy is better both in ring and on the microphone.
That's an interesting take. I wouldn't disagree with it. Just because, look, I think they're both entertaining, and they both do very well for each other, and they both, obviously, pro wrestling runs in their veins, so they both get it. They're both very good. They draw to casual fans, both, in my opinion. So like they're really, really fun. And I agree. I'm glad that they're kind of getting to shine now. Everybody doesn't get the Usos mixed up anymore. You have one that's super over with the crowd. Everyone loves his entrance, and everyone loves Jimmy's antics. Anytime he's on the screen, it's what's Big Jim gonna do now. He's made Big Jim a thing.
Yeah. It's just like you expected to see, like, it's just what it is. One comes out, got super over. You got to hear his song get repeated 5 times before he can actually say something on the mic. And the other one is like, you don't know what to expect, and that's the best thing about it.
Yeah. No, I agree. So it's been fun. Got anything else to talk about as we're leading up to WrestleMania? We're gonna have some special WWE guests on in the next upcoming weeks. Next time we have you on, we're supposed to be talking to WWE superstar, women's SmackDown champion Tiffany Stratton. She's going to join the show, making her second appearance. So she's going to be an official friend of the show. So we're looking forward to that. Anything that you got going on right now, buddy?
Not much. Only one thing. Let me plug this in real quick.
Oh, this is serious. Oh, that's sweet. Social media championship.
So
For all of our audio viewers out there, is a really nice belt our guy was holding up.
my boys, Ruda Entertainment, Tanalyze and Tony's are doing a little competition on social media to crown a social media champion. If you are a wrestling content creator, all you have to do is make a video where you cut a promo letting us know why you're the social media champion. And the person that get the most votes get this here
Oof.
social media championship belt.
That's beautiful right there. I would love to hold that. Is that pretty heavy?
Yes, sir, it is.
That's authentic right there, dude.
Yeah.
I love wrestling belts.
So this is made from the Evolve
Okay.
championship. Like if you look at it, you put the Evolve, think about the Evolve logo, the one that Austin Theory carried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, it's nice. So tell them what they got to do again.
All they got to do is cut a promo on Instagram.
It's the easiest thing that you could do. You just literally put the phone to your face, call somebody a jackass, start kissing some ass, do whatever you have to do. Just be entertaining, and that pretty championship.
Let us know. Let us know why you should be the social media champion. Tag Tanalyze and Tony, Ruda Entertainment, and the Babyfaces Pod, and we're gonna be the judges.
That's right. We're looking forward to seeing all your promos out there, guys. We're looking forward to you downloading this episode. It's the Babyfaces Podcast, joined by our friend Vigilante Talks. We'll be seeing you guys again soon. You have a good one. Y'all take care.